Hello, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Today I want to show you a really cool yellow Western Electric trim line telephone, and this is Judith's telephone from Indiana. And so basically Judith has picked this telephone up from like a secondhand store or somewhere, and the telephone didn't work. She didn't get any dial tone when she plugged it in, and then she sent it in to have it repaired. And so basically there is some issues with this telephone, and we need to go through them, and this is the initial checkout, and we have went through this telephone a little bit, so there's quite a few different little problems going on. And as you can see, this is a hardwired telephone, but it's not hardwired. It's the original style. It just looks kind of like it's hardwired. This is the original style modular plug that they went to after they were hardwiring telephones. And we know the modular plugs to look like this nowadays. But these were much larger, and so they didn't make these very long, so this makes this a unique telephone. And not only is the handset cord that way, I want to show you something on the line cord that's very unique and you will not see very often. You'll see these type of connections more than you'll see what I'm going to show you on the line cord. So now we know modular cords to be like this for the handset cords and things, and line cords. But this is kind of a very sought-after telephone. It's pretty rare that you see a telephone with these larger modular plugs. Another thing that you don't see very often is this is one of the early models. It has the round buttons. So these buttons are round, and they went to more of a rectangular or square type button. And so we want to set the handset down because I want to show you the connection that's at the base of the telephone. So you will see these connections once in a while on some telephones, but they're pretty rare. Most of the time these telephones get collected up that are like this because they're unique, they're different. This is what I want to show you though on the line cord. See, we would normally take a modular plug like this and plug it in. And as you can see, that's a totally different type plug that goes in for the line cord. So you can't just come up to this telephone, and this is the inside plug to that, and walk up and plug in a everyday line cord to this telephone. It just isn't going to work. So basically you have to have a setup like this, or your line cord isn't going to work at all, because you're just not going to walk up to it and plug in one of the ends. But as you can see at the other end of this plug, they have a regular modular port plug that would plug into any jack, any outlet. This telephone was purchased at a second-hand store, so basically somebody tried to repair it before Judith got a hold of it. But this isn't the issue. They installed this modular port plug wrong. It has 6 conductors on it, and basically what they did was they got the conductors down at one end, and they totally missed one of the conductors that would normally activate this telephone and give you a dial tone. So that's improper. Another problem that we have with this telephone is it has no bridge rectifier in this telephone. There is no bridge rectifier, so if you go and plug it into a jack, you may or may not be able to use the telephone properly because of the improper polarity issue. So now we need to install a bridge rectifier so we always have proper polarity with this telephone. We also need to go through and clean the hook switch. So there's quite a few issues that we have to deal with. And we also want to go through the handset and make sure everything's working in the handset properly. So there's going to be quite a bit of work with this telephone, but it's a very unique telephone. Like I said earlier, you're going to see these plugs once in a while from time to time, but this plug here on the bottom, you will not see that very often at all. That's a totally different situation, and you only come across them once in a while. Okay, we're back now, and I was going to kind of give you a little bit of a look at what's going on. I basically have pulled out some of the wiring that I need to get to while I'm installing the bridge, and we have replaced the modular port plug, and so this is no longer any good. It was installed improperly and it had to be replaced. So we'll go ahead and throw that away. If you notice in the back, I have a meter, and I have our components here to make our bridge rectifier. And so basically what we want to do is I'm going to go ahead and start testing these. And I want to make sure they're good before we put them in. And the meter will have a sound indicator on one side of my component. So it's not reading that way. And I get a reading on the other side, so that's what I want. We want to check them all. That one's good. That one is good. And that one's good. So we know our components are good that we're going to start making our rectifier with. And I like to make my own bridge rectifiers. I always have, and so I continue to do that. Sometimes we'll use some manufactured ones, but there's no real need to do that, and most of the time I just make my own. So we're going to go ahead and start doing that. And it's not going to do you much good to do this if you do not know how to configure your bridge. And then we're going to solder it up. One more connection to make. I'm going to straighten some things up here with it. And now we've made our bridge rectifier. So we'll go ahead and start soldering that up. I'm going to clean my soldering gun. And we'll get some solder on these. Got one more to go. That should do it. So now what we want to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a short break from the video, and I'm going to start reconfiguring everything that I need to fix up for the circuit. And we'll be right back. We'll get some more video as soon as we return. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and so we're getting ready to take our bridge and solder it into the circuit. So basically I just want to look at my bridge rectifier here real quick, and I want to make sure that I know which way I want to connect it up. So I'm going to go ahead and start configuring the wiring on that. and then we'll get some solder on it. We'll go ahead and solder that line. Make sure that's soldered good. Just start finishing up putting our lines on, our connections. That's our last one, so we're almost finished with installing it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we've already installed our modular port plug, and so we're going to take a short break. And I want to take a look at everything that's going on, and then we'll come back and do our final check. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and we are finished up in the repair of this telephone. And so we have the base off still, because I wanted to show you that this plug here from the handset cord, if you noticed earlier in the video, it was hanging out, it was pulling back, so that will no longer do that. It's been secured now, and that issue has been taken care of. We also have our bridge rectifier in place now, and everything is secure. So we can go ahead and put the base of our telephone back on, and we can start our final checks. I'm going to go ahead and secure that. We'll put some number card inserts in our telephone there in our base, so we can start doing our final checks now. And we'll go ahead and ring the telephone. I want to let that go a few times. I'll let it go one more time. Give you some dial tone. If you watch the analyzer, we'll walk through our numbers. I'm going to end in a 2. I want to transmit into the handset. So if you watch that red light on the analyzer, every time that red light lights up, that's an indication of 100% modulation on transmit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hello, hello. So we know that this telephone is ringing. It has transmit, receive, and it's dialing out. I have a switch box here, And so when I push this button, basically what happens is it takes us to an outside line, and the analyzer is totally out of the situation. So what we'll do is go ahead and call, give you some dial tone, the time and temp number.
Good evening. Shop online anytime at Offenberg.com. A short drive to great value. Today is Friday, May 17th. The time is 6:12. Current temperature 84 degrees. Now the Belleville area weather forecast. Mostly cloudy tonight, lows in the low 60s. Saturday mostly cloudy early, then partly cloudy, a high in the mid-80s.
We can call one other number. We can call my number and it'll be busy. Give you some dial tone. So now that we know that this telephone has been repaired, we can return it to Judith and they can start enjoying this telephone. When she purchased this, like we said earlier, she couldn't use it. It didn't work, so she sent it in, and it has been repaired now. And I actually think it's for her mother, but it's a great telephone. Collectors love these because of the period that it's in, with the modular plugs being different than what we know of as today. And they didn't make them very long that way, so they're highly collectible. This is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.